Welcome back to Mock Draft Madness, day 49 of doing a mock draft every single day until the NFL draft. We are now only 6 days away. I could not be more excited for the draft, and I also could not be more excited to not do a mock draft every single day. Next year, I think I'm going to start these probably the first day of April, but, you know, it's an experiment, so I've had fun with it. Like I said, I only got 6 days left. We got another 2-rounder coming for you. We got a 3-rounder coming for you. Today is just a 1-rounder. I will do a 1-rounder the same day of the mock, the actual draft as well. As always, if you don't know ball and want to know ball, be sure to subscribe, leave a like, let me know in the comments your favorite and least favorite pick from this mock draft. As we get into it, obviously there's rumors going around just about the Jaden Daniels. The odds are a little bit different now. Drake May's odds to go number 2 are probably about as high as they're going to get unless some other information goes out. So with that information, I'm going to go Caleb Williams 1, and then I'm going to go Drake May 2 just to mess it up a little bit. Now, this leaves the New England Patriots in an interesting situation because I don't necessarily know if they're going to go for Jaden Daniels. I also don't necessarily know if they're going to go with JJ McCarthy. Elliot Wolf did make some comments about them trading out. So what I think I might do is I might, for this situation, have them go Jaden Daniels. I'm not going to have them trade out like yesterday until we start to hear things heat up a little bit more. I think if the first 3 quarterbacks are Drake May, Jaden Daniels, and Caleb Williams, I think Caleb Williams obviously a lock to go number 1. I think if Drake May falls to 3, I think it leaves a little bit more options for what's going to happen because I think teams will be very aggressive to try to trade up, and I think that also leaves a spot where I don't know, I just feel like the Cardinals could be a little bit more on the move if Drake May is there at 3. So with the Cardinals here, Marvin Harrison Jr. is an easy pick. Number 5, I have had the Chargers going offensive tackle. I also think moving back is an option. So I am going to go with, I'm going to stick and pick here, and I'm going to go with Malik Neighbors. At number 6, we have the New York Giants. I'm going to have them take Rome Odunze. I think they really do need tackle. I think they're a sneaky team for O-line, and they'll probably try to grab a quarterback in the 2nd. Rome Odunze is going to go 6, and then I'm going to have Joe Alt go 7 to the Titans. At number 8, we have the Atlanta Falcons. I think this is a prime trade back spot for one of these teams, because these are the teams that are going to want to trade up for a quarterback in JJ McCarthy. And I think the reality is it's probably going to be the Vikings because I have a hard time believing that they leave without one of the top 4 quarterbacks in this draft. Praying it is not Drake May as a Bears fan, but overall, I think they have the most ammunition to do it. I also think Denver will be very, very aggressive. So that is a possibility. I also think the Raiders are in play here. But in this situation, I am going to have the Vikings go up to 8. So 11 for 8. And then, unfortunately, see, this is the issue with Minnesota. Outside of the first overall pick, or the 23rd pick, they don't have a 2nd or a 3rd, so it's only 3 spots, but they don't have really much to trade. So I would guess maybe a 3rd next year, and then maybe 108, and they'll give us like 187. I just, it's tough because of the draft capital that they have right now. Whereas I feel like if you look at the Raiders, right? If we look at the Las Vegas Raiders, they can trade a 2nd to move up those spots. So that's what I'm actually going to do here. So the Raiders are on the clock, and they are going to take JJ McCarthy. With the Bears sitting here at 9, all the offensive playmakers are off the table. Joe Alt is off the table. I think there's still a possibility that they add Brock Bowers at 9. I think with the offensive play caller that they have in Shane Waldron, this isn't completely out of the picture. I mean, they ran a lot of 13 personnel where they had, 3 tight ends on the field. So he could be played in the slot as well. And I think that tight end label is kind of doing him some disservice. At number 10, we have the New York Jets. I think they could probably do themselves a favor here and address the tackle in Troy Fautanu. He's someone that, you have a situation where he can play all 5 positions, and we know the Jets O-line is going to get hurt. So he can fill in anywhere. Tyron Smith, Morgan Moses are both older players. They're probably going to miss a game or two. He can fill in wherever. And then the Jets have a top 6 O-lineman, and you're going to want to provide protection for a 40-plus-year-old Aaron Rodgers. At number 11, we have the Minnesota Vikings. Adding Byron Murphy here would be a great addition after their edge additions in Daniil Hunter and Andrew Van Ginkel. They can probably get another quarterback at 23 if that's going to be the route they go. At number 12, I think the Broncos are not above taking Bo Nix here, just because unless they're going to trade back, which I think could work, I just have to think of a team that would be willing to trade up with them. I do think the Jags are a team that could trade up, but Trent Baalke said, trading up doesn't work very often, and that's true if you look at it analytically. And I just don't see a world where, any of these teams really trade up unless there's a team trying to go get a tackle, which is very realistic. In my opinion, I also could see them maybe taking a guy like a Talisa Fuanga, but at the end of the day, I just don't know. I think there's a lot of good tackles on the board still, which could lead for a team to trade up. So maybe that's what I'll do. I'll have the Okay, so this is going to be a little bit crazy. So I'm going to give him 36 and 40, and they'll give me 121. Because that'll allow the Broncos. They just need talent, though. This is tough. I think it may take giving them 67, and we'll give them 76. Or maybe we'll give them around 2 next year. Yeah, let's do that. So the Commanders are on the clock. They are going to take Olu Fashanu, and now they have a starting left tackle. At number 13, the Falcons are on the clock, and they are able to take their pick of any of the edge rushers. I'm going to give them Dallas Turner because of age and potential. I think that's what you swing for in the first round. At number 14, we have the New Orleans Saints. I'm going to give them Talise Fuanga, somebody who can play right guard. He can play right tackle. Ramczyk is probably not going to be there. Hopefully you can hold out a little bit of hope for Trevor Penning. 15 to the Indianapolis Colts. While Terrion Arnold is right here, I think pairing Brian Thomas Jr. with Michael Pittman Jr. and Josh Downs gives you some good versatility for that team. At number 16, we have the Seattle Seahawks. I think interior offensive line is going to be where they target, but in this situation, I'm going to give them a dominant edge rusher in Laiatu Latu for Mike McDonald, the defensive head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. 17 to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think they desperately need to add a cornerback, and Terrion Arnold is sitting there on the board for them at 17. You run in that pick. 18 to the Cincinnati Bengals. They have a lot of options here. I do like the idea of a J.C. Latham, somebody who can play guard for you. I do like the idea of a Graham Barton even. I do think Jordan Newton would be more of an impact player, but I think J.C. Latham can provide them good tackle play immediately, good guard play immediately. If one of their tackles goes down, you can play them there. Trent Brown's only there for a year, so J.C. Latham can be the succession plan. At number 19 to the Los Angeles Rams, Jared Verse is available. Jerson Newton is available. Quinyon Mitchell is available. You have a lot of options. I do think even adding a talent like a Adonai Mitchell could be good. because you just would have such a good receiving core. But I guess you do need a little bit more help on defense, and I'm going to give them Jared Verse. 20 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They need corner, they need receiver, and they need tackle. I'm going to give them, Graham Barton makes a lot of sense, but I'm going to give them Adonai Mitchell. Somebody to compare it with George Pickens. You have Pat Freiermuth as well, Najee Harris, Jalen Warren. You're giving Russ some weapons. Even if they add a guy like a Tyler Boyd, I think, you have a lot more options for the quarterback to throw to. And good options, not just bodies. At number 21, we have the Miami Dolphins. I really do think Marius Mims could be a good pick for them because, yes, he's not going to start right away, and I know you have problems with the interior offensive line with Graham Barton here, who can play any position, but if Teron Armstead goes, who has been one of the best tackles in football, and you allow Marius Mims to learn from him for a year or two, you may be able to replace him with another top 5, top 10 guy. 22 to the Philadelphia Eagles. I really like the idea of even further supplementing that line. I know it probably won't be the pick because they took Jalen Carter last year, but Drazon Newton on that defense and the cycle of pass rushers that they have would be unbelievable. 23 to the Minnesota Vikings. I think if we're sitting in this situation and we look at the quarterbacks, I am going to go Michael Penix. I think, with that O-line, with the weapons that he has, I think he could be a very, very, very good player for the Minnesota Vikings, and he would be you wouldn't really skip a beat. You can start him right away. You don't need to have Sam Darnold go out there and play. And, if you're able to protect him, he can be a good quarterback for you. At number 24, I am going to go Graham Barton to the Dallas Cowboys. Somebody who can play all 5 positions on the offensive line, and they need that type of versatility. They still have some spots to fill, and Graham Barton makes it a little bit easier because you can plug and play him wherever. 25 to the Green Bay Packers. Looking at Quinyon Mitchell, I do like him to the Packers. I think he's a very good corner. I think he could go earlier. He could go before Terrion Arnold, but at the end of the day, I do think adding him with Jair Alexander and Xavier McKinney makes their secondary pretty scary. At number 26, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the clock. Both of the receivers are gone. I do think they'll probably address the interior of their line, and Jackson Powers-Johnson can be a solid pick if none of the edges are there for them. 27 to the Arizona Cardinals. They need just about everything, and it looks like the line has really kind of gotten thin here. They are picking at 35, and I'll go to pick 36 this time just to play out the Broncos scenario. 27 to the Cardinals, who took Marvin Harrison Jr. earlier. I do think they could add a corner like a Nate Wiggins here that would be a very good impact player. I do think even adding a guy like a Tyler Guyton could be interesting. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add Nate Wiggins. And then at 28, the Buffalo Bills desperately need a wide receiver, but they also do, I don't know. They're in a tough position. I think I'm going to add Troy Franklin. They need more guys. I don't know if they're going to address them in the first round after Brandon Beane's comments, but it is possible. At number 29, we have the Detroit Lions. They need cornerback help, and Cooper DeJean is sitting there for them easily. Baltimore Ravens, they can use a wide receiver. They can use a corner. I really like size for the Ravens here. But imagine if they added a burner like Xavier Worthy and put him with Zay Flowers. I know they're not the biggest guys, but at the same time, that's a lot of speed, and Lamar does have an underrated arm, in my opinion. At number 31, we have the San Francisco 49ers. Kool-Aid McKinstry's there, and I think that could be a great pick for them. They need cornerback depth help, and Kool-Aid McKinstry is a first-round talent. At number 32, we have the Kansas City Chiefs. You could add D-line here, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give them Chop Robinson out of Penn State, the explosive pass rusher with a very, very quick first step. Carolina Panthers have 2 picks here. I think they could really add anything they need. I do think they could add a guy like a Zach Frazier and secure up that center spot. I do think, you could also add D-line later because you do have pick 65. So I'm going to give them Zach Frazier here at 33. 34 to the New England Patriots. We had them taking Jaden Daniels. So let's give him a wide receiver to throw to. I like the idea of, Lad McConkey here. I'm more of a Ricky Pearsall guy, but I'm 50-50 on him. So 35 to the Arizona Cardinals. They got Nate Wiggins, they got Marvin Harrison Jr., and they have Jonah Williams, but I do think you could take a swing on a guy like Tyler Guyton, who has shown really, really good tape. He has just been consistent. So if you're able to get those three guys in the first 35 picks, I think you win the draft. This is where the Broncos are able to go and get their quarterback at pick 36. I think Bo Nix will be there at the beginning of the second round, depending on how the quarterbacks go through quarterback alley, which is the Vikings, Raiders, and Broncos. All those teams need quarterbacks, and if he's there, I think that trade with Washington benefits them quite a bit, because if you look at the Denver Broncos here, they have pick 40 now, and they have 40, 76 in it. So they have 3 top 76 picks, which is good. I know you're not adding like a top tier talent, but this team has a lot more holes. They're not horrible, but I think if they're able to get their quarterback later for value, get a second round pick in the next year's draft, and have 2 this year in the top 40, I think that's a win-win for them. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Mock Draft Madness Day 49. If you don't know ball and want to know ball, be sure to subscribe, leave a like, let me know in the comments your favorite and least favorite pick from this mock draft. We are less than a week away. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your day.